I want to talk to you about how to spot fake enlightened people. The fake pious. I'm outside, that's a woodpecker. Pretty cool. The difference between fake Muslims and fake pious people, phony enlightened people, is that the fake Muslim knows he's a fake Muslim. The phony enlightened people actually think they're enlightened. So it's a little trickier to figure out who they are, but I figured out how to do it, how to spot a phony enlightened person, whether they be Christian, Muslim, Jewish, atheist, New Thought, and I've experienced all of them. And there are a lot more phony enlightened people than enlightened people as you climb up the ranks of religious authority, from my own personal observation. But then again, we're phony in one aspect of our lives. We're multifaceted. Here's some examples. If you're wondering whether or not someone gave you phony drugs, you try the drugs. Not that I'm advocating doing drugs. And if you get high, you know they weren't phony. So you couldn't really pass phony drugs off on a drug addict because he knows what the drugs are supposed to feel like. Okay, that's one example of knowing about whether or not something's legitimate. If I wanted to know if this guy out on the street was a professional martial arts expert, a cage fighter, if I started picking a fight with him, in a moment I would know whether or not he was a professional martial arts expert because my arms would be broken, my teeth would be out. Okay. Now, the enlightened people, how do you know? How do you know if an enlightened person is really enlightened or whether they're just a poser? When you experience them, you should come away with the feeling of enlightenment. You should feel enlightened and enriched for having been around them. If you're hanging around someone who is supposedly enlightened and you get nothing but depression, feeling low, feeling unaccepted, feeling unloved, feeling with no direction, feeling they're better than you, you probably have a poser on your hands. And see, that's why I like the unenlightened better than a poser. Because a real unenlightened person is pure. And when you walk up to an unenlightened person and you enlighten them, they go, ah. When you walk up to someone who is phony enlightened, they go, yeah, I know. I used to teach that. Okay, so that's the difference. And you can teach the unenlightened. And I know, so for myself, I don't consider myself enlightened. And the fact that I don't consider myself enlightened actually raises me up the enlightened scale just a bit. But I can't get any more enlightened because I'm a regular guy. I make mistakes, I do stuff. But the people I know that are enlightened, that I think are truly enlightened, when I'm around them, I want to emulate them. I want to be like them. And when I tell them that, they make me feel good for being who I am. The phony enlightened tell you what to do, tell you how to be enlightened. The real enlightened live in such a way that they just shine light on you and they make you want to do your best. So that's my feeling. So when you're experiencing people, and again, the higher they climb up the power ladder, the harder it is for them to see that they're not enlightened. So that's why it's good for people to have peers, people around you to pull you down, to let you know, hey man, not cool. Oh, did you hear those birds? Did you hear those? It must have been 1,000 birds just went right over my head. I wonder if the camera got that. Anyway, so let me know what you think.